So, ever since the Hallyu wave made its way to a broader international audience, the popularity of idols during the time skyrocketed, and they paved the way for the rise in the popularity for the next idol groups. What is most striking about these idols is the amount of interaction that they have between each other and the fans. Idols can personally communicate with fans a lot through different mediums, such as live streams, social media comment sections, fan meets, concerts, K-Con, and many more. Although idols work hard to produce their music under circumstances that make them feel kind of lonely at times, they still try to have time where they can talk to fans and thank them for their support. Fans from all over the world express their love and support for these idols differently. This range of expressions from going to all of their concerts, buying all of their music, to a grotesque actions that are less than conventional. Because fans from all over idolize these Korean celebrities, there is a general consensus about what rights idols should have. However, at the same time, fans begin to have variances in how they interact with idols in order to communicate a message across to them. Sasaeng are alleged fans who try to resort to crazy dangerous methods to get their favorite idol to notice and love them. Their media ideologies heavily conflict with their idioms of practice and their interpretations of the result of said practice. I will give you 2 examples that will show you how threatening it is when Sasaeng trying to express their love and support to their favorite idols. Be ready, check it out. Alright, starting with the first example. The first example is about the disconnect between one's media ideologies and idioms of practice in this digital culture. It's about the interaction between 2PM Taekyon and Sasaeng. Most fans are trying to send letters to their idols in hopes of them reading it and remembering who took the time to write to them. However, there was one fan who took this medium a step further in order to stand out compared to thousands of fans that are trying to send these idols letters every day. To this fan, she believed that by doing something different with her letter, Danica would remember her more clearly than other fans. Instead of using writing utensils like pens, markers, or pencils, be ready. This Sasaeng wrote on her letter with her menstrual blood. In order to make him remember her and fulfill her fantasy of him seeking her out and falling in love with her. Her ideology was that in order to be remembered and loved by an idol with many fans, she had to make herself stand out by doing something different and more shocking. In this case, she used a classic medium, but she kinda added more shock value to it. She did achieve the part of what she wanted. Well, he remembers her, but he doesn't remember her for anything good and has no desire to pursue her. This is an example of how crazy fans' media ideologies that conflicted with her idioms of practice. In turn, her actions were not necessarily communicated the way she believed it would be, and she also received a lot of backlash from other fans and also from many celebrities. And then we're moving on to the next example. This example shows that a huge part of miscommunication in the Korean pop idol fan culture is mainly due to Sasaeng's would-be that in general. Sasaengs employ the use of underground taxi services via online or phone, whose purpose is to drive and stalk these idols from their day-to-day activities. They often charge hundreds of dollars per hour, and unfortunately, many Sasaeng actually employ the use of this service. However, the scary part is when this service goes a step further where there are girls that are trying to stalk their idols and they don't have enough money to afford the service. Guess what? They will give their body to the driver to do what they please. And this creates another problem altogether, one that wraps both idols and fans involved. This method of showing affection for their idols is not only immoral, but is also dangerous and adds more to a small but existing problem. For most of idols, they want their fans to be healthy and safe. But Sasaengs will try to do what they can, regardless of all the consequences that fall upon them. The small populations of Sasaengs have people that dropped out of school, became homeless, and still continue to pursue idols when they don't have much left to lose. Well, Sasaengs are assuming that what are they doing is actually what's the best for their idols and them. But in fact, they are putting everyone in danger. For instance, one of the biggest car accidents with these taxi services is a 7-vehicle collision with super juniors Hichal and Lita. The media ideology of employing all resources available, whether legit or not, to achieve a goal may seem work in theory, but instead, there are a lot of factors that either make it more difficult and dangerous for not only the idols, but also the fan itself. Well, some people may argue that Sasaengs are actually in fact achieving their goals and there's nothing wrong with them. South Korea doesn't have many laws against stalking idols or invading their privacy, so it wouldn't be considered as illegal. Idols know what they are facing and getting themselves into when they are getting more famous, when they are getting more popular. Having an obsessed fans comes with the price of fame and popularity. Both Sasaengs and idols are responsible for the consequences that they have to face. Well, although some of these arguments are true, still, one's safety comes before all else. Privacy has been breached and people have suffered from injury. Nothing can justify the injuries and trauma that both fans and idols face every day. In fact, South Korea is currently making up measures to enforce stricter policies on this sort of situations and protect the idols more. As for Sasaengs, they are hindering their potential to live their lives of going to school, staying home with their family, and interacting with other people. Most tend to dedicate most of their lives to following their idols in real life or online. However, because of these temptations and clouded judgment, Sasaengs tend to communicate their love for their idols in ways that are not necessarily conventional and can come across as obsessive. Instead of getting their idol to notice them for being sweet and loving to them, Sasaengs tend to push them away and get their idol to notice them for being dangerous and nerve-wracking. In all of these situations, Sasaeng culture is a small culture, but it definitely makes a big impact on those around them. Media ideologies conflict with their idioms of practice and cause misunderstanding or misfortune among the fans and idols. The life of a Sasaeng varies in different degrees, where some behaviors are less harsh than the others. Despite all of these, Sasaeng culture heavily affects not only on the idol, but also the fandom for the idol. In turn, misunderstanding and horrible idioms of practice are the catalyst for huge wars between the fans of different idols and their respective groups.